Have you ever heard of a civilization so advanced that it had flushing toilets and grid-like city planning over 4,000 years ago? No, I'm not talking about some sci-fi movie. I'm talking about the incredible Indus Valley Civilization. Stick around, because what you're about to hear will completely blow your mind. Emerging around 3300 BCE in what is now Pakistan and northwest India, this civilization was one of the three earliest cradles of humanity, alongside ancient Egypt and Mesopotamia. But here's the kicker. It was by far the largest, spanning an area of over 1 million square kilometers. And yet, for some reason, it's often the one we hear the least about in school. Today, we're changing that. We're diving deep into the mysteries of this ancient superpower that was, in so many ways, living in the future. Let's start with their cities. Forget the stereotypical image of ancient settlements as chaotic, jumbled messes. The cities of the Indus Valley, like Mohenjo-Daro and Harappa, were masterpieces of urban planning. They were built on a precise grid system, with straight streets intersecting at perfect right angles. This wasn't accidental. It was deliberate, large-scale planning that would make modern city planners jealous. Major streets were wide enough for carts to pass each other, and the entire layout was oriented to catch the prevailing winds, providing natural ventilation. It's a level of foresight that was simply unparalleled for its time. Houses were built with standardized, baked bricks, not sun-dried mud, but kiln-fired bricks that were incredibly durable and uniform in size. This standardization across hundreds of sites and hundreds of miles tells us something profound. They had a centralized system of weights and measures. Imagine a construction industry where every brick, from one end of the empire to the other, was the same size. This efficiency is something we strive for even today. But the real showstopper, the feature that truly sets them apart, lies beneath the streets. The Indus Valley people were pioneers of sanitation. Almost every house in Mohenjo-Daro had its own private bathroom and, get this, a flushing toilet. Yes, you heard me right, flushing toilets over 4 millennia ago. These toilets were connected via terracotta pipes to a sophisticated, city-wide sewage and drainage system. Covered drains ran along the main streets, carrying waste away from the residential areas. Manholes with brick covers were placed at regular intervals, allowing for maintenance and cleaning. This system was more advanced than anything seen in many parts of the world until the Roman Empire, thousands of years later. It shows an incredible understanding of public health and hygiene. While other civilizations were struggling with waste and disease, the Harappans were engineering a clean, healthy urban environment. Now, you might be thinking, a civilization this organized must have had powerful kings, grand palaces, and massive temples, right? Well, this is where the story gets even more fascinating. Archaeologists have searched for decades, but they have found no definitive evidence of grand palaces, royal tombs, or monumental temples dedicated to specific gods or rulers. There are no giant statues of kings or depictions of glorious military conquests. This is in stark contrast to Egypt, with its pyramids and pharaohs, or Mesopotamia, with its ziggurats and warrior kings. So what does this mean? It suggests a completely different social structure. The Indus Valley may have been a more egalitarian society, governed not by absolute monarchs, but perhaps by a council of elders, merchants, or religious leaders. The emphasis seems to have been on public good and civic order, rather than on the glorification of individuals. The most prominent structures found are not palaces, but public buildings, like the Great Bath of Mohenjo-Daro. This massive waterproofed pool was likely used for communal ritual bathing, emphasizing a collective, community-focused life. The entire civilization seemed to prioritize practicality and the well-being of its citizens over pomp and power. Their economy was just as impressive. The Harappans were skilled artisans and avid traders. They developed a uniform system of weights and measures using standardized stone cubes. This ensured fair trade across their vast territory and beyond. And trade they did. Indus seals, small carved stone objects used to stamp clay on trade goods, have been found as far away as Mesopotamia. This is concrete proof of a thriving international trade network. They exported goods like cotton textiles, timber, ivory, and precious stones like lapis lazuli. The Indus Valley was likely one of the first civilizations to cultivate cotton and develop the technology to weave it into cloth, a product that would change the world. They were a commercial powerhouse, connecting the ancient world through peaceful trade, not military conquest. Yet despite all this sophistication, a great mystery remains. Their writing. The Indus people had a written language, found on thousands of those small seals I mentioned, as well as on pottery and other artifacts. The script is made up of hundreds of unique symbols, featuring abstract designs and depictions of animals. But here's the frustrating part. We can't read it, not a single word. It remains one of the world's last major undeciphered scripts. The inscriptions are typically very short, just a few symbols long, which makes cracking the code incredibly difficult. What secrets do these seals hold? Are they names of merchants, religious incantations, labels for goods? Until we decipher the Indus script, a huge part of their culture, their beliefs, and their story will remain locked away. And this leads us to the final haunting question. What happened to them? Around 1900 BCE, after more than 1,000 years of stability and prosperity, this brilliant civilization began to decline. The great cities were gradually abandoned. The uniform writing system, the standardized weights, the distinctive pottery, it all faded away. Why? There are many theories, but no single answer. For a long time, the leading theory was a violent invasion. But extensive archaeological evidence has largely disproven this idea. There are no widespread signs of warfare or destruction. A more likely culprit is climate change. Scientists believe a shift in monsoon patterns may have disrupted the seasonal river flows that were the lifeblood of their agriculture. The Gagahakra River, which may have been the mythical Sarasvati River, mentioned in ancient texts, and was a core artery of the civilization, began to dry up. This environmental shift would have led to food shortages and forced people to migrate away from the great urban centers into smaller, more rural villages. It's a powerful and sobering reminder from history. Even the most advanced civilization is vulnerable to the forces of nature. The end wasn't a sudden collapse, but a gradual deurbanization, a slow fading of a once great society. So, when we look back at the Indus Valley Civilization, we see a people who were remarkably ahead of their time. They were master urban planners, pioneering engineers, and peaceful global traders. They built a society based on order, cleanliness, and community, without the need for despotic kings or grand monuments to power. They remind us that there are many different ways to build a successful civilization. Their story is a puzzle with many missing pieces, from their undeciphered script to their quiet decline. But what we do know paints a picture of a truly brilliant and enigmatic world. What do you think is the most impressive achievement of the Indus Valley people? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of our ancient past. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.